What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Friday episode of Flippin' Bats. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today as well. Justin's start against the Atlanta Braves. We'll talk all about that, break that all down. Tiers. We're going to put every single Major League Baseball team in tiers. We are just over about a third of the way through the season, so honestly, what better time to do that? We got a few tiers for you. We got Elite, we got Playoff Bound, we got Playoff Hopeful, and we got maybe next year. So we'll put all the teams right in there. Tail of the tape, one of the best series of the year so far, Rays and Rangers, and of course, things that make you go, This one's going to be great. Let's get to it.
It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. It is gone. Home run. And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
What is up, my friends? Welcome into this Friday episode today. And what a night last night in what was the craziest game of the baseball season so far this year. Mets, Braves, it lined up so perfectly with Justin on the mound against Spencer Strider, Cy Young Award winner and best pitcher in baseball last year against a historically good rookie last year in Spencer Strider. And it disappointed in terms of the pitching matchup. Justin was not good. Strider was not good. Justin, 82 pitches in 3 innings, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 7 hits. Strider, 4 innings, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 walks. Ultimately, the game ended up Braves win on a walk-off in the 10th inning, 13-10 off the bat of Ozzie Albies. But this series for the Mets was a nightmare. And Justin's start on the mound was not good either. And, this just needs to be so much better for this Mets team that is really going through it right now. I can't remember a series that in early June has felt so demoralizing for a team to have your 2 studs going in a series on the road. This kind of felt like a big, if you can win this series, it kicks your season off and then you're off and running. And we have Max and you have Justin on the mound. Well, Max and Justin gave up a combined 11 runs between the 2 of them. And that's just not going to cut it. And at a certain point, you got to stop. It's certainly not early. It is no longer early. There's plenty of time. There's 100 games left. There are 99 games left in the season. But the Mets are 3 games under 500 right now. And this series, that game last night was the wildest game of the season. Braves get out to an early lead, then Mets come back and a Nimmo grand slam gets them back in the lead. And then it looks like they're off and running. And then the Braves just keep chipping and chipping and chipping away. And nobody can seem to get outs on either team. And ultimately, it led to what was the walk-off from Ozzie Albies. And it's the first time in the 62-year history of the New York Mets that they have lost 3 consecutive games in which they had a 3-run lead or more in every single one of those games. In history. I mean, there's no excuses for this. This is it. Man, it was a tough game. It was an incredible game to watch as a fan, but again, one of the most demoralizing series I have ever seen for a team in the regular season. What I saw from Justin was not being able to throw strikes. It was truly weird coming off of a really dominant start, his prior start in which he ended up they lost the game 1-0, but he was dominant and said it feels like some things are clicking. Some things are getting figured out. And then to come into this game where he had those numbers where I just said 3 innings, 4 earned, 4 walks, 7 hits on 82 pitches. Look, he faced 20 batters and he threw a first pitch strike to 6 of them. That's never going to cut it at any level. And he knows he has to be better, obviously. Everybody wants him to be better. He wants to be, the fans want him to be, the team needs him to be. And, there wasn't any excuses made after the game. Again, this was one of the most demoralizing losses. And to hear post game what Buck Showalter had to say about this, in my opinion, is again unacceptable. You have a team that's 30-33 with the highest payroll in all of baseball, the highest payroll in baseball history, after the most demoralizing loss of the entire season. Heartbreaking. I mean, a heartbreaking loss for the New York Mets. And you talk to the manager after the game, and one of the first things he says is, I look at it as a positive. I look at this as a positive. I'm really proud of them. Look, let's hold up for a second. Were there any positives in the game? Absolutely. Team scores 10 runs, Lindor's heating up, offense looked good, but this isn't a time or a place for a manager to come out and talk about the positives. It's time to have a little bit of accountability here, that this is an absolute nightmare start to a season. This was an absolute nightmare series where we should have potentially swept our heated rivals and the leader of the division and been right there on their heels in the division. Instead, you look back and we just got swept and we blew every game in every possible way, and it was just unacceptable. And there was no accountability there from the manager, which to me, he should be the one of everybody. The guys in the locker room were the ones taking full responsibility. David Robertson after the game said, "We're frustrated." They asked him about the stretch they're on. "Oh, we're frustrated. You can feel it. You can see it. There's frustration there." When Justin spoke, there was obvious frustration from him talking about the team, talking about himself. So look, Buck Showalter those comments to me are again a bit of an unacceptable answer after this sweep. The fans don't want to hear that. The people listening in, look, everybody knows this is a nightmare. You can't have your manager trying to sugarcoat everything and make everybody believe that everything's okay, because everybody knows that everything is not okay. Things are not okay. You have to turn it around. And sure, he can believe things are going to get turned around. I think many people believe that things will get turned around. But right now, things have not gotten turned around. It's gone in the opposite direction. They're now 6 losses in a row. They're now in 4th place in the NL East behind the Phillies, the Marlins, and the Braves. Now in 4th place. And to come in post game and say, I look at this as a positive. Ridiculous. There's no world in which this game looks at, you can look at it as a positive for the Mets. You just can't. It's demoralizing. So Justin after the game said, yeah, as much frustration as he has, it's been feast or famine with him this year. It's either been really good or really bad, it seems. And he said, I've been working my ass off trying to make it click, and every time I think I found it, it goes in the other direction. It's definitely frustrating for me and everybody. Said he feels good physically. There's been flashes of it. And this was something interesting. He said, all the metrics from last year to now, everything looks similar. Pitch shape, spin rate, a lot of it, they all look similar to last year when he was the best pitcher in baseball. But he said there is something there, and there's something there, and I'm going to find it. So this isn't easy on him. It's not easy on anybody. But one thing I felt was interesting, because he was talking about pitchers this year and a bit about how it seems different pitches are working this year as opposed to things that worked last year aren't working this year, and vice versa. And it really made me think about it. So I looked up the top 5 ERA leaders from last year and what they're doing this year. And this is absolutely mind-blowing. But number 1 on that list, best ERA from last year, was Justin, 1.75 ERA. He now has a 4.85 ERA. Now that's just through 7 starts. He's only made he's made 7 starts, about half the starts that the majority of the league has made. And a lot of his starts have been very good. Also some that have been very bad, hence the 4.85 ERA this year. Julio Urias last year was number 2. He had a 2.16 ERA. This year, 4.39. Dylan Cease last year, 2.20. This year, 4.63. Alek Manoah last year, 2.24. This year, 6.36. And Sandy Alcantara, the other Cy Young Award winner last year, 2.28 ERA. This year, 5.07. So the top 5 ERA leaders from last year are all either well above 4 ERA this year. So a lot of guys are struggling. It is still early, specifically with Justin. He's made 7 starts. I do believe he's going to be okay. I don't even want to say be okay. I believe he will find that consistency. But man, there's no sugarcoating it. There's no sugarcoating what we just saw from the New York Mets in this series against the Atlanta Braves. That was a nightmare series for them. This Atlanta Braves team is the real deal. You watch that lineup. There is no weak spot in the entire lineup. The Atlanta Braves are so good. And it is why preseason I predicted the Atlanta Braves to win the World Series. And it's because of how good they are to be in the World Series. And it's because of how good this lineup and the pitching and everything is. So not good for the Mets, very good for the Braves, and just a tough series for the Mets. And again, last thing I'll say here, the Buck Showalter excuses can't be, that can't be happening. Nobody thinks everything is fine. He can't possibly think everything is fine. Everything is not fine. So a little accountability in the locker room from players and managers will go a long way. And look, there's 100 games left in the season. I believe the Mets will be fine, but this was a tough series for them. And last night was what ended up being the craziest game of the year so far, where you have two aces of a staff. They both get shelled, and you end up with a wild game and a walk-off home run in extra innings, and the Braves win and end up sweeping the New York Mets.
All right, we're about a third of the way through the baseball season now, Alex. And what better to do than tears?
Yeah, I mean, we did this before we started the season. We kind of put all the different positions into tiers. So yeah, now that we're about a third of the way through the season, we're going to put all the teams into tiers. So let's get started with our first tier, Elite. What teams are elite, Ben?
So, yes, I have four elite teams. Two from the NL. Wait, one from the NL and three from the AL. The one National League team for me in the elite tier is the Atlanta Braves. The Braves are here. In the American League, I have three: the Houston Astros, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Texas Rangers. I believe that much in this Rangers team. I believe right now they are one of the game's elites, and that is even with the Jacob deGrom news. He won't be pitching anymore this year. But guess what? He hasn't been pitching this year. The Rangers have been incredible. They're one of only two teams in all of baseball with 40 wins, and that is including another team in this tier, the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rangers are elite. They're right now elite. Are they going to be in this tier all year long? I don't know, but I truly believe this is a playoff team. Right now, they are playing like one of the game's elites. They've been in the top 3 of my power rankings for the better part of a month. Like, this is an elite baseball team. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, 25-game hit streak there. You have great pitching, Nady Eovaldi, John Gray. This team is literally just missing one thing, and it's a serviceable bullpen.
Yeah.
So,
which you talked about with Ken Rosenthal earlier this week, that they need to be aggressive at the trade deadline and fill that hole if they want to be a strong playoff team.
And his answer was, I didn't even get to ask about the Rangers. He was like, the Rangers are going to be aggressive. They are going to be aggressive. And then he went on to talk about who is available, starting pitching, offense-wise. So I always love having Ken on. Ken is such a pro and he is so great. I just need to, Ken hops on and he asks all about his lighting and if he looks well lit enough, and then just drops so much knowledge. The guy is just, he's great. Ken Rosenthal is awesome. And he was really good talking a little bit, a very early pre-trade deadline stuff. And we talked a lot about the Rangers. So yeah, 4 teams in elite: Rays, Rangers, Astros, Braves.
Astros, is this based on kind of, obviously they're the reigning World Series champs. They haven't had probably, I mean, obviously Texas is ahead of them in the AL West. Haven't had the strongest start to the season. But you believe that what they have in their core is elite.
Yeah, I think they're also, they're 36-26.
Yeah.
Very good. They're coming off of a World Series. They were, I think, coming into this year, everybody would say the best team from last year was the Houston Astros. Who's the best team from this year? Well, they're the Astros, and now you look, the beginning of June, they're 36-26.
Yeah.
They're only not in first place because of another team that's on this elite list.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Astros are certainly an elite. Look, the Rangers are elite. The Astros, as of right now, the American League still runs through the Houston Astros. Do not get it twisted. American League runs through Houston.
That's fair.
Until it doesn't.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what I said. I was like, a good chunk of this is what they've proven beforehand.
Yeah.
And they're not top right now, but they're still extremely strong. Elite team.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to our next tier. Playoff bound. Who do you have here?
Okay, playoff bound. We have 7 teams. Okay. I will list them first. We have the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Yankees, my Fighting Diamondbacks, the Twins, and the Miami Marlins. Look, we're sleeping on the Marlins.
No, we're not.
We're not.
We're not. We were talking about this earlier this week. Do not sleep on the Marlins.
Do not. But
they are for real.
But people are still sleeping.
Don't
we told them not to, and they are. Marlins are very good. They're in second place. They'd be in the playoffs right now if the season ended. Dodgers, obviously, are a team here for me. Dodgers were a fringe elite playoff bound team for me.
They would be my one kind of question as to why.
Fringe.
Okay.
The reason I have them here is I do not believe in that bullpen. I do not believe in it. They need help.
They could also be a team that's extremely aggressive at the trade deadline because they always are.
Yeah, I have to imagine they will be. Exactly. They always are. Their track record speaks to that. So you have to imagine they will address their needs, but right now they have some big needs. I mean, I watched a lot of their series against the Reds. Yes, the Reds are very fun and very exciting, but the Dodgers were shooting themselves in the foot a lot that series. I mean, 9th inning in game 1 of that series, they just couldn't throw strikes, couldn't get out of an inning, blow the lead, walk in a run, hit a batter, a run comes in. Like, there's nobody in the back end of that bullpen that you can turn to and say, we got it. You know, there's nobody. And in fact, it's the opposite. It's more like, do we got this? No matter how close it is. So it's a big worry for me. And as of right now, I can't put the Dodgers in the elite of the elite with their pitching situation.
I know you got to be so happy about this one.
I'm so happy.
Especially since they're here over the Padres.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Huge. Corbin Carroll is so good.
Your driver of the fan wagon?
The driver of the fan wagon. I said this. I started calling him MVP CC, and then I, to him, said, I've been calling you MVP CC. I'm hopeful it's like a bit of foreshadowing. I didn't expect it to foreshadow to later this year. He should be if the season ends right now, Corbin Carroll should get MVP votes.
Yeah.
That's how good he's been. Stolen bases, high average, double-digit homer total. Zach Gallen's been incredible. The Diamondbacks are really good. They're top of the NL West. This is a playoff-bound team. You can't convince me otherwise. They need to add at the trade deadline. Absolutely. They also need some pitching. But, yeah. Any other team here that jumps out to you?
No, it's great. I'm excited for the Orioles, and I'm excited for Miami, and I'm excited for the D-backs. This is like, did not expect, and it's a happy did not expect.
I think there's a few different reasons that teams are going to be in each category. Like, I don't think the Twins are as good as the Dodgers or the Orioles or the Blue Jays. But to me, I think they win that weak division. So to me, that makes them...
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps if you're in a weak Central division.
Exactly. Well, we're going to see that in another tier. Like, there's a lot of teams, Alex, that are still in it without being very good baseball teams. And then there's some that aren't that'll be in a tier below. But there's going to be a lot of teams in this next tier.
Okay, so let's get to that next tier. And that is playoff hopeful. And that is a packed tier.
That's a lot of teams.
Name them off.
Playoff
Name them off.
Hopeful. Okay? Red Sox, Giants, Reds, Padres, Cardinals, Brewers, Phillies, Mariners, Angels, Cubs, White Sox, Guardians, Pirates, and the New York Mets. I would like to start with the New York Mets.
Okay.
The Mets are a team to me that, if you ask me right at this moment, will the New York Mets make the playoffs? I would say yes. But as of right now, I cannot put them in a playoff-bound tier. They are not playing good baseball.
Nope.
They're losing games they should win against the Atlanta Braves. They're losing games that they should lose against everybody else. It is not a good stretch for the Mets. And right now, they're not playing as good as all those other teams in the tier above. So they're a team for me that I believe will look up at the beginning of October and say, the Mets were a good team this year, made the playoffs. Now, what can they do in the playoffs? But as of right now, the beginning of June, I look up and say, this team I can't put with those other teams. They are absolutely in this mix with all these teams that are just hopeful they can get in the playoffs. So the New York Mets are down here in playoff hopeful teams. White Sox are another one for me.
Okay.
The White Sox, well, we've been very critical of the White Sox this year.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. What I will say is since April 30th, the White Sox are 20-14. The only American League Central team over 500 since the end of April. That is quite the number. So again, as I mentioned in the last tier, the White Sox aren't out of it because they're 4.5 games out of the first place in a division and 4.5 games out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're in 4th place and 4 games out, which is...
It's a bad
anything can
division.
happen in that Central Division.
Anything can happen. So, of course they're playoff hopeful. They're the hottest team in the AL Central. To be honest, they're one of the hotter teams in the league. They're playing really good baseball right now, and they're certainly playoff hopeful. And we talked about the conversation with Ken, but I asked Ken the other day on Wednesday's episode, what are the White Sox? What are they? Are they gonna tear it all apart and admit that it didn't work, or are they going to buy? And he was like, Ben, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that they are going to be buyers. So
I mean, you have to. Like, when you're in a division that is so close, like you're in 4th place, but you're 4 games out of 1st place. In a month, anything can happen. You can be in 1st place, and you could be playoff bound. So you have to believe in yourself, especially at the trade deadline.
Yep. Let's see here.
Padres
are, I mean, shoot, I would have, beginning of the year, this is the elite. There's
no excuse for them to be here right now.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. This is unacceptable.
I agree. Yeah.
Another frustrating one is the Angels for what they're trying to do and to keep Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be here either.
Another exciting one.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Reds.
So exciting.
The Reds are
Ellie
rolling.
De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz has turned this franchise. Well, I can't even say that because they were playing good baseball before Ellie De La Cruz. He has been the boost that the entire baseball world needed to understand that this Reds team might just be for real. Do they have holes? Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty of them.
Yeah.
But they're fun, and as of right now, they're playoff hopeful.
I dig.
Yeah. I don't even know how many teams that is. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14.
Oh, good.
14 teams here.
Good job. All right, let's move to our next tier. Maybe next year?
Yeah, maybe next year. You got the Nationals, you got the Royals, you got the Tigers, and you got the Rockies. I don't like that my Tigers are here.
I know.
I'm gonna be honest.
I know you feel sad about that.
I don't
one.
like it. I don't like it. I thought they would be closer. I think a couple years ago I said that the rebuild is 2 to 3 years away from being a very good baseball team. Well, guess what? We're in the beginning of that area where I thought it would be good, and it's not. I think the Javi Baez signing really hurt, and that sucks because that's the piece that you were supposed to build. You went out and got your shortstop of the future, and he's not good.
Yeah,
that can't happen. And then you've had to deal with injuries of Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. I almost said plethora again, but I used that recently, so I stayed away from plethora.
Nice job.
A plethora of injuries, but I went back to it. With Riley Green, Torkelson has been down and glimpses of being good, and hopefully I think Tork's going to be great. But they're just behind where I thought they would be, and that sucks. So they're still in it again in a division, technically in a division that is very bad. But, I mean, just disappointment so far. A lot of injuries. Tarek Skubal hopefully coming back. Riley Green injured again. Just tough. Eduardo Rodriguez, who's been great this year.
You're down.
This sucks.
It sucks. I feel like we're missing a team.
There's one more tier.
I was like, there should be one more team in here.
Maybe next year, but there's one more team, and this tier is called the Oakland Athletics. And within this tier is the Oakland Athletics.
There it is.
And that is all I'm going to say.
That's it.
I have told you many times, I'm done talking about them. I am done talking about the Oakland Athletics. I'm so frustrated with the organization as a whole, not the players. The players are doing their best. The players have had good times. They've had bad times and whatever. But the organization, I'm so down on. I'm done talking about them. But they deserve an absolute tier of their own. So the fifth and final tier is named the Oakland Athletics, of which there is one team.
Yikes. It's so funny because when we did this about position players, there was only one player who had a tier of his own, and that was Mike Trout.
Yeah.
And that was the positive. And now this is the negative. The only negative tier we have are the Oakland A's. So, yeah. You did it to yourselves.
Yeah.
You did it to yourselves. All right. Let's move on to one of your favorite segments.
Things that make you go,
Things that make you go, So let's get started with our first things that make you go, Pete Alonso yelling, "Throw it again" at Bryce Elder.
Yeah, this was
Spicy.
a situation.
So
Pete
spicy.
Alonso hits an absolute tank and comes back in the dugout, and the cameras and audio picks him up yelling out there, throw it again, please. And everybody heard it, including either the Braves dugout that heard it or somebody was up in the clubhouse and then was checking things and heard what was going around social media, because the dugout quickly found out the Braves quickly took a lead in the game and decided to yell out there again. They're on the first base dugout, yell to the pitcher right past Pete Alonso, who's playing first base, throw it again, and just started heckling him back. I love it. I think it's great. What I don't love is what the Atlanta Braves fans did the next night when Pete Alonso got drilled in the hand, and they basically cheered super loud, standing ovation, chanting, throw it again.
Do you think that was on purpose?
The hit by pitch wasn't. Charlie Morton hit him and got down into he was clearly shaken up by it. He did not mean to.
I didn't even think about that, putting those two together.
Yeah, but so that is a good first thought though. But it was not. Just frustrating that why are we cheering a player getting
Never.
hit? And it wasn't like Alonso talked about it. He said, I think it got blown out of proportion a little bit. Lindor got a hanging slider. I got a hanging slider. So I asked politely to please throw it again. And he's from the dugout. So you got to yell it out there. I wouldn't have done it, but I think it's funny. It's good for the game. It's
entertaining.
Dude,
and
it's
it's
a tank.
spicy.
Yeah, throw that pitch again, please.
Yeah.
It's not like this hateful comment. So when a guy gets hit the very next day and has to come out of the game, for the crowd to be so worked up. Oh, the Braves took care of it. They got him right back the next inning. Let that. You don't need to cheer a player getting hurt. Exactly. They won the game.
That's the ultimate.
You
getting
won the
back
argument.
at
You
someone.
won the situation.
You did.
So I didn't like that reaction from the crowd that night. But the situation is just kind of funny, he threw the exact same pitch to Lindor, then Alonso, and it's keep doing it.
Yeah.
Throw it again, please.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah. But it was that didn't work out very well.
And you actually had a pretty fun conversation about this with Smoltz.
Smoltz, tomorrow's episode.
Yeah.
So this came about in my head from what we've seen with Fernando Tatis a lot this year, where whenever he's on the road, now that he's playing the outfield, he's 20, 30 feet away from fans right behind him. And he has been getting heckled all year long and been doing a remarkable job just rolling with the punches, having fun with it. But it led me to, when I talk to Smoltz, I always ask a few pertinent baseball conversations and then always try and get a story out of them. So this one, I talked about fans heckling players and asked him the best he had ever gotten heckled in his career. So that episode will come out tomorrow, but I think we have a clip of that.
Well, I've seen a lot, and there's been a lot that happened. It was great. It happened to me. Game 1 of the World Series in 1996, the fans heckled me in places and stuff that I didn't think they would ever know. I didn't think anybody in the world knew I played the accordion. So when that came out, I had to step back and go, okay, you got me. How did you find that out? And how did you get that?
Did you know that?
I had no idea. I didn't know if you were on. I was like trying not to react as I was hearing that. What? The accordion?
Not only an accordion player, his family is
A
very
band?
talented musically, and he was very good on the accordion. But it was he won awards, but it was like when he was in 4th grade.
That's a fun fact.
But
though.
still, it is.
That's
And
such a fun fact.
Somehow, I will add this.
Yeah.
When you, especially in the age of technology, so when I was playing pro ball, there was no bounds to what fans would do.
Yep.
And I played right field mostly. I will never forget. We were playing the Brooklyn Cyclones. This happened everywhere, every road game. Like, people just find out everything they can about the player on the opposing team right in front of you. People would like go through my Facebook, get like ex-girlfriends' names, be like, how's so-and-so doing, Ben? Do you miss her? And I'd be like, what? I loved it.
They care.
The majority of the time, I ended up
that's
becoming,
great.
not friend, but like
Friendly,
I'd end up like giving it back, and
Yeah.
then if I go strike out, they'd give it back to me. If I got a hit, I'd come out. Like it ended up being
It's
fun
fun.
with the majority of them. But people start talking about like aunts and moms and dads
Dang.
and
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Hey, you owe me a soda. Jinx.
So yeah, that heckling conversation is great. It actually went on. There's a good bit to that conversation. So tomorrow, Saturday with Smoltz, every Saturday, John Smoltz, the legend, joins me, talks baseball, talks stories, Braves stories. Bobby Cox, Chipper Jones is a part of that conversation. So good stuff there.
Great stuff. Not so great stuff in this next Things That Make You Go, Smoke illuminates the New York skyline.
This is crazy.
It looked terrifying.
It looked apocalyptic.
I mean, we've seen it in LA before, but I don't think we've ever seen it like this in
Well,
New
I'm
York.
not from here. Has it been that bad?
Oh, yeah, the wildfires?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it looked like when you were driving on the 405 through, like, the valley where the, what's the Getty Museum?
Yeah.
The hills were on fire at one point as you were driving through. It literally looked like you were, like, driving through hell.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, the game ended up getting postponed yesterday, or Wednesday, was it? They didn't end up playing that game because of the smoke. It was legitimately a crazy thing to see, all from wildfire smoke in Canada.
Yep.
And you think, man,
Wind's
that's a
blowing it
long way
down.
away. I'm from Virginia. My family in Virginia, their smoke is in Virginia. They canceled the Nationals game in D.C. It is like
Gnarly.
crazy.
Gnarly.
Yeah, this was like.
It's sad. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, another Things That Make You Go, The Dodgers are now adding padding to the fence that Aaron Judge crashed into.
Yeah, there's a lot of fences around the league though that are like, what are the Cubs gonna do with the Wrigley Field? Like, I just think this situation, though I did hear this fence. So this is all from the catch in Dodger Stadium where Aaron Judge ended up getting hurt and going on the IL.
Yeah.
But when he broke through that fence out there, the Dodgers are now adding padding to that fence. But I think I heard something like that fence was like rusted shut. No, nobody could get it to open.
Oh, so he opened it.
Yeah, he opened it. It wasn't opened in a while. It wasn't supposed to be open, but big old
That's
Aaron
dangerous.
Judge comes. Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's a liability.
Yeah.
One of the best in the game is now on the IL.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
good on the Dodgers for adding padding,
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
good. Getting it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And our last Things That Make You Go, A Guardians fan eating mustard out of a giant tub.
I don't even know. What are people doing?
It's aggressive, but whatever makes you happy, man. I come from a no judgment household.
This video. This guy is like leg up on his other leg, flicking the spoon around and then sticking
it's
it in
like
there.
a spatula.
It's like he's like just sat down on the couch with his bowl of ice cream and he's about to dive in. Yet it's mustard. Alex, how much money would it take for you to chow down on a bucket of mustard?
If it's Dijon, I could get it down. Dijon mustard.
For free?
No, I'd take some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
you
take
would.
some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty high, not
That's
a high
gnarly,
number.
but that's a big, I'm going to be sick. If that big of a jug, a gallon of mustard is what he's eating.
Yeah.
Oh.
I always struggle with like when people are like, how much money? Like in theory, it's like, oh, so much. But like when money's right there in front of you. I one time jumped in a rooftop pool in New York City. It was the pool was closed, but I did it it was a bet with my brother.
Yeah.
And he was like, I bet you jump in that pool.
Did you get kicked out immediately?
Oh, I got kicked out, but went right to the hotel was like downstairs, went and changed, the whole crew got kicked out. We went to a new spot and it was a great rest of my night.
Did you get any money for it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Yeah, it was an undisclosed amount. It was enough to make me
Okay.
hop in the pool.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't want to put, Justin on this,
Things that make you go,
Yeah. But like, in theory, it's like I would do it for $10,000. But when there's like real money right in front of you, it makes it a little different.
It's funny.
If there was a bowl of mustard right in front of me and somebody was sitting right to my right with like $10, I'd think about it.
No.
I'd think about it.
Ben, we need to raise your standards a little bit.
It's just one bite of mustard.
You said the whole tub. That's
No,
different.
not even the whole tub.
Okay, good. All right, let's move
Good
on from this.
Lord.
Now it's giving me like a stomachache thinking about eating an entire tub of mustard.
Maybe you should have put mustard on your hot dog.
I
at Dodger Stadium
did.
the other night, or
I
people wouldn't have
did.
yelled
I
at
had
you.
the packet and I put individual mustard on every bite. I do ketchup and mustard.
That is so weird. That's what you were
Why?
doing?
Yes.
Let's move on. I'm going to
You're
get a
weird.
stomachache from you.
All right, let's move on to tail of the tape because we have the two best teams in baseball matching up this weekend. You got the Tampa Bay Rays, the Texas Rangers.
This is a good one.
This is a great one. We're going to go through. We're going to pick offense, defense, managers, starters, bullpen, who we think's going to win that matchup, and then who we think's going to win the series.
We're coming off of Yanks Dodgers, Alex.
I know, you took that one.
I took that one.
We're tied up right now in the season.
We're tied up. So this is the only two teams in Major League Baseball with 40 or more wins.
Yeah.
So this is a great series.
Can really go either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started with offense. Who you got?
I have the Texas Rangers. I have a lot of reasons for it to be the Rangers, but wherever we want to dive into, we can. Run differential. Through the first 57 games of the year, the Rangers outscored opponents by 143 runs. Just for context, the best run differential by any Major League Baseball team through 57 games since 1939. The Yankees had a better one in 1939. Best since 1939. I mean, they lead the league in so many categories. They lead all of baseball in average, runs scored, hits, RBIs, total bases. The only team over 1,000 total bases. Nobody's really remotely close. And 154 run differential is also the first in baseball. The best offense in this series, though both are good, is the Texas Rangers.
I'm going to have to disagree. And I am going with the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, they have been red hot all season. Then they are either first or second in most of the offensive categories in Major League Baseball, okay? They are second in runs per game in Major League Baseball, but they are first in home runs, extra base hits, stolen bases, slugging, and OPS. And then they are second, as I mentioned, in runs per game, in average and OBS. So OBP. So it's tough because both these teams are 1 and 2, neck and neck in a lot of these categories, right? But then you got guys like Yandy Diaz, Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena, who just had that huge walk-off home run, his 12th of the season. This is a home game for a home series for Tampa Bay. So I'm gonna take the Rays offense here.
When you said a couple of those stats that they're second in all of baseball, who's first in those? I didn't catch you say who was first.
I didn't say who was first.
Oh, you
in
didn't
those.
mention who was first?
But did you see how many I listed that the Rays were first in? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in offensive categories. Okay. Like I said, this is a very equal series.
I see your Wander Franco, Yandy Diaz, and Randy Arozarena, and raise you Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Josh Young,
Mm-hmm.
Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, offensively. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I feel great about my pick there.
Good.
I feel so good about this already. All right, next.
All right, defense, who you got?
Defensively, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are very good defensively. The Rays do everything very well. The Rays do everything well and certainly play a good defense. Jose Siri out in center field has been one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. Wander's been good at shortstop. So, yeah, I went Rays defense.
Okay. I also went Rays defense, and a lot of the same reasons you mentioned, but I'll add on some stats here, okay? They are better in fielding. They're the 5th best in Major League Baseball compared to the Rangers' 11th. They have the 6th fewest errors committed in Major League Baseball compared to Rangers' 11. And 9th most double plays compared to Rangers' 13th. So I went with Tampa Bay.
So both pretty good.
Both
Rays are Rays are really good.
Yeah.
Rangers pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Okay.
Let's move on to managers.
Bruce Bochy. Give me the Rangers and Bruce Bochy. Multi-World Series champion manager Bruce Bochy. I mean, I would rather talk more about how good Bruce Bochy is, but I would just like to mention we've seen Kevin Cash in a World Series one time, and he made one of the biggest moves that will be talked about forever as being a mistake, which was pulling Blake Snell out of the World Series game against the Dodgers when he was absolutely dominating. And, yeah, Bruce Bochy, Hall of Fame manager, comes in first year with the Rangers and totally changes the culture there. This team is winning. Yeah, it's Bruce Bochy for me.
Yeah. I mean, both these managers, what they've been able to do with these two teams has been incredible. It's the two top teams.
Did you
no.
go Kevin Cash?
I went Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash. He has consistently been the best team in baseball this year. How can you not pick Kevin Cash when you've seen they've been, first in baseball, like right out of the gates?
Yeah.
And held on to it throughout the entire season. Also manager of the year, 2020, 2021. Yes, he made a huge mistake in the World Series game that you just mentioned, one of those years. But he's doing this all without the elite superstar names, like a Trout or a Judge or players that are on that level and caliber.
And
he is able
that?
to do that.
Or
I don't know.
Tampa
He's
Bay
the manager.
Is the Rays way doing that, where they just make everybody turns out to be...
So what are you saying? Like, Butch, it's not him who's like making Texas great this year. It's his players, and then that goes against your argument.
No, my argument being, I think with manager, you
set the tone. Everyone's having fun.
The Rays.
You see how much fun they're having.
Kevin
starts
Cash
with your leader.
is great.
Yeah.
And the team has been the best in baseball this year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take the manager and say, which manager, it's tough to say, if you just pick which team is better the entire time, then you're just going to end up picking the manager that their team is better.
Not necessarily.
But over the course of his career, I mean, you can't necessarily do that because his career
right now,
isn't as long.
this season, I'm doing this season.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The Rays have been a juggernaut in the league for a long time. The Rangers have been terrible for a while, and Bruce Bochy comes in his first year.
I don't disagree with your pick.
One of the best teams
That's
in
fair.
the game of baseball.
This is a tale of the tape that I would take either side on most of these things.
I
it
agree.
is neck and neck. They are 1 and 2 in almost every category, minus one of them. So yeah, let's go to starters. Who you got?
Okay. Starting pitching here. This one was closer than I thought it would be, but I'm going to go with the Rays here.
Okay.
Shane McClanahan, Tyler Glasnow back. Now, Nate Eovaldi and John Gray are equally as good this year, but rotation depth, production they're getting from all of their starters, McClanahan is, if not the best, one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball. Tyler Glasnow being back is huge for that rotation. So I'll take the Rays.
Okay. I took the Rangers here.
Wow, we are.
I know. Again, it's tough going through. Now, when I was going through how I normally do, and I see what the lineup is and who's facing each other, who are the probables. Texas didn't have their probables up at the time, or no, not Texas. Tampa Bay didn't have their probables up at the time. Texas did, and I felt strong in my belief that 2 of the 3 could get it done. But now the probables are up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is your thing. You give us who the probable pitching matchups are in each.
I do. Okay. So, do you want to go through and like now knowing this, see who?
Yeah, let's hear.
Okay. So, Friday, you got Andrew Heaney against Glasnow.
Okay.
Who you taking?
I mean, Tyler Glasnow's the play there.
Yeah. And then Saturday, Evaldi against Bradley.
Take Evaldi.
Taking Evaldi. And then Sunday, we got...
This is going to be a great series. Perez
against McClanahan.
McClanahan. I'll take McClanahan there.
Yeah.
Martin Perez. This is...
It's tough. It can go either way. I mean, okay, I took the Rangers. You took the Rays.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to make a statement, but to get there, let's talk about bullpen.
Okay.
Can we get the Rangers a bullpen for the love of God? The Rays are my pick for bullpen. The Rangers bullpen is so god awful.
Yep.
We're talking about one of the best teams in baseball, and their bullpen is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to see what this team is capable of if they had some bullpen help. They're a top 10 worst bullpen in the game of baseball. Not many are worse than them. It's so bad. It's bad. So bad. The Tampa Bay Rays have a good bullpen. The Texas Rangers have a terrible bullpen. The Rays are my pick, but please just go get bullpen help, please.
Yep. I also have Tampa Bay Rays here.
Yeah.
I mean, this was one of the biggest discussions when you were talking to Ken of what are the Rangers, like who needs to be aggressive at the trade deadline? First thing that comes out, Rangers. They need bullpen help. When you have this strong of a team, you're the second best team in baseball, and and have an obvious weak link hole, address it immediately.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So this series, we each have 3 on the...
No, I got 4.
You
I only
have
got
4.
1 on Texas. I'm taking Tampa Bay.
I'm going to take the Rangers.
Okay.
I'll take the Rangers
Let's go.
here. The Rays... I'm just doing that I'm just doing that to go against you.
Okay.
Pitching favors you. The Rays are at home.
Yep.
But no, I'll take the Rangers.
Okay.
I don't want to be on the same side as you if it's close.
All right.
And we're tied on the season.
I know.
All right. Good tail of the tape. This series is going to be awesome. We got some good pitching matchups now that we're out. They're out. So good. Good.
All right. Well, let's wrap things up with some fan questions. Fun Friday with the fans.
Alex, we talked about alliteration for this, but
you didn't
we
like
didn't
it?
agree on
You
this.
wanted something with a bunch of F's. Fun Friday with the fans. That works.
We didn't talk
Give me
about
something
this.
better. Fun Friday with the fans. I'm just going to keep saying it till it sticks. So let's get started with the first Twitter question.
I think the only way that becomes acceptable is if you add the F word in between fun and Friday.
That doesn't, no. It would be.
Spices it up a little bit.
You're trying to get me to say the F word.
Say it.
It'll happen. Just because you did and slipped out.
All right, get to
it'll happen. Okay.
Questions.
Let's get to our first fan question. This comes from Long Live Pat Stay. Yeah. If Luis Arraez hits for 400, should he win the MVP? If. And we talked about this.
This is a question.
Yesterday.
This is a really good baseball question, I think, because let's use Ronald Acuna as a reference. Okay. Let's say he's a guy that hits around 330 this year with 35 homers and 60 stolen bases. And then you have Luis Arraez who hits 400 with mostly singles. This is tough because he would be accomplishing a milestone that hasn't happened since Ted Williams. I think in my explanation, Luis Arraez does not win MVP because Ronald Acuna would also be doing something that's never been done before in 30 homers, 60 stolen bases.
It's fair.
But let's just say a normal year. Let's say Ronald Acuna this year hits 330 with 28 homers and 50 stolen bases, and Luis Arraez hits 400. You know what? I would still struggle to say I think he's in that conversation.
Okay.
Is he more valuable than a guy that's hitting 330 with that many homers? Who's more valuable to a team? A guy that's hitting 400 all singles or a guy that's hitting 330 with 30 homers and 60 stolen bases? My answer would be Ronald Acuna. But I also think I'm frustrating myself.
Okay.
I think hitting 400 would be the more impressive feat.
Okay.
But I don't think it would win him MVP. Does that make sense at all?
Yes.
I think it would be more impressive on the season to hit 400, but I don't think it would make you the most valuable player in the league.
Okay.
That's going to be my answer. And I don't even know if I like it yet. I'll listen back and I'll see if I like my answer. I think I do.
Yeah.
I think it makes
sense.
Fair.
It's fair.
Okay.
All right, let's move to our second fan question. This one comes from Joseph. As a Tigers fan, this rebuild has been long and looks like it has several more years. Injuries and bad deals have slowed this down. So what is a realistic timeline to expect the Tigers competing for a division title and then for a World Series?
I don't like this.
I
really had to go out on the Tigers, and now I get this Tigers question. Just saddens me. I'm sad too, Joseph. I'm sad too. Realistic time frame.
Maybe next year?
Not maybe next year. I will say, look, you'll struggle to find a bigger Miggy fan than me, but Miggy's not Miggy any longer, and that contract will be coming off the books soon. That will help them. Be able to do what they need to do in certain areas. They have a lot of pitching injuries this year. Their young pitching core was supposed to be like the highlight of this team, led by like Tarek Skubal, Casey Mize. None of them have pitched this year. So next year, you're going to look at a much healthier rotation, hopefully a full season of a healthy Riley Green, a continued to improve Spencer Torkelson. Don't know if I like how I said that, but he'll just continue to improve, and he'll be better next year. I think Javi Baez is an issue at shortstop.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna say 2 years.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're far.
Okay.
I think they need help, but I think the pitching, like Geet.
Are you a delusional Tigers fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
let's add a year onto that too.
No, get your pitching in place. Start with the pitching rotation that will be good. You'll have offense. You'll have Riley Green. You'll have Spencer Torkelson. You got some guys offensively. Build around them. Add a bunch of help offensively. The offense is tough to watch right now.
Yep.
So I'm going to say a couple of years away. They'll have a pitching staff. They have their guys to build around. Then you just add the pieces around them. 2 to 3 years. Realistic time zone. World Series, though? No. Division winners.
Long. Division winners.
Okay,
2
3 years.
That's fair. And we got one final question on this Friday coming in from Double Player. What should the fan who caught Ellie De La Cruz's first homer ask for in return for the ball?
You know, this is a great question, and it's one we had a lot last year when it came to Aaron Judge's home run record pace and him setting certain records along the way and who's catching those balls and what you should do with them. What you should do is exactly what the kid who caught Ellie De La Cruz's did. Mm-hmm. He was there with a group of his friends, and he asked for a meet and greet, signed baseballs for him and his friends, and a picture with him and all of his friends in it. And they were all holding up the baseball. That's great. Good on that kid. That is a great story. And you know what? Ellie De La Cruz will remember that kid forever. He will be forever grateful. Mm-hmm. And it's such a better story than like, I got his first homer. Like, I'm going to hold on to it. What are you going to do for me? I will add the Aaron Judge homers were a little different because those are worth millions. And I don't know if I'd just do that.
I mean, the Yanks should have stepped in and offered like season tickets.
Yeah, the Yanks should have stepped in and offered like something big, but it put the guy in a position to be like, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation, and it is a tricky one there. I understand both sides, but this situation, a guy's first homer, you know what? I just want a picture with me and all my boys and a signed ball for all my boys as well. And we'll call it a day. I think he handled that perfectly.
He did.
And that is exactly what I would do with the people that I am at the game with.
And the Reds PR staff, when the kids are down there, should have offered, I don't know if they did, they could have, like, hey, want to come back to another game? You guys can, because they were sitting in the outfield. Like, they were, like, not expensive seats. Like, come back to another game. Let's have some fun.
I would also add one last thing of what he did. He did everything great. I would have also said, please mention me in your Hall of Fame speech. Oh. And then and that's all.
Just a little. Just a little.
One mention, Ellie, when you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Because Ellie's a Hall of Famer.
Steep.
All right. That's it for Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday with Smoltz. A lot of good conversations there. His heckling conversation, the best heckling he heard, some of his teammates heard. Garrett Cole's full revamp as a pitcher from the Pirates to the Astros to the Yankees, how he went about doing that. The weirdest injury that took him out of the game. Oh my God, that was a great answer. The weirdest injury that took him out of the game. Saturday with Smoltz drops tomorrow, but for this Friday episode, thank you all for listening, my friends. Make sure you subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcast, and we're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch everything on YouTube as well at Flippin' Bats Pod. For all of them. Thank you all for listening to this Friday episode. Until tomorrow,